Hello, welcome back everyone. So I got another project going, and I realized that there's basically no information on how to do a bedside on a Toyota pickup. Mine's a 94, so I'm not sure the year span on them, but I'm sure I'll do research and I'll be able to post it in the description box. So yeah, I guess I already cut one bedside off, so I'll be able to kind of show you guys what all went into that. So basically what's going on here is this is my truck's old bed. That was rear-ended a while ago, and I basically had to open it all up to get the tailgate to open, and it split. So basically it's junk. I found a new bed on Pick Apart and decided to buy it. I was planning on somewhat repairing this side, and then after buying it and looking it over, I realized it was way too far gone. You can kind of see all the damage that's all around it, and it's just horrible. So figured my side was good on that, this side's bad. So as you can tell, I pulled my bedside off, which is now on the stand over here to throw onto that bed. And then this side is a lot better. It does have a little bit of damage. I mean, granted, they're old beds, so it's got some high spots right here and little stuff, but nothing scary, right? Because again, it's an old bed. The inside is super clean, which honestly is a big selling point for me when it comes to beds. So I decided to go for it. But back to the bedside. So there's a lot of ways to do it. So since I'm not using this bed, I kind of did it the easier way on the front side, which is basic. I can show you guys on this side. So there's spot welds all the way down that lap over. The only thing is sometimes when you're trying to take a bedside off, you have to bend things out to be able to pull it apart, if that makes sense. So since back here, once you start drilling everything out, so there's a stitch weld here, and then spot welds all throughout the rail, and spot welds here. I think there's another weld like oh, it's actually right here in the top corner. At least mine did. Mine had another stitch weld in this area. And then spot welds, 2 spot welds here, 1 here, 2 here, and then 3 or 4. I had another stitch weld at the bottom, so 3 spot welds in this area. And then it has in here 3 spot welds too. And that basically is all the welds in this section. But the thing is once you start doing this, so realistically, since it's lapped this way, the bed's got to come back. So you have to pop off the front either sideways, or like what I did is just literally cut it off. But you got to pop it off so you can slide it out and bend it around so you can kind of slide it back. So if you're trying to save the bed and just pull the bedside off, then that's one of the ways to do it. There's a lot of ways to do it, I guess, but it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to give a scenario for everyone. So this is, I guess, essentially what I'm doing. But and as far as the inside is concerned, it's just bolted. So the gas cap or the gas door assembly, if you're working on the side with the gas door, it's literally just bolted on here. And then there's these brackets in the center that are bolted to the bedsides. On the bottom, there's 1 bolt, and then on the rear bottom, and then on the front, there is just 1 bolt. The front piece is all entirely bolted on. So it's got 3 bolts on the side. It's got 1 that I cut off up here, that, and then all throughout the bottom. There is a little bit of seam sealer at the bottom, so once you get it off, you kind of got to twist it off. That one's had a little bit more than this side. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of it. I did run into kind of a little bit of an issue up here, because there's this on the back side, which I'm just now realizing it's actually welded here. It's a little separate tab, because once I undid everything, I couldn't get it off. So I had to bend the bedside out to get in here, and I used actually metal shears, pliers, to cut this thing off. So I'll see what I do on that side, since it'll be interesting there. But that's kind of the core principles of everything that goes on. It's super simple. Normally on a normal bedside, there's an outer wheelhouse, and it's literally welded all the way around. I'm so happy that this one's a lot easier. And yeah, so I guess I'll start working on that. Well, here's where I cut on my bedside. So I gotta take out all these spot welds so I can take out this piece off, and then I'll have a complete stripped bed. And then I gotta do some metal work here. There is a dent right in that area, so I gotta be able to hammer and dolly it with it on the stand. And then back here, oh, I forgot about this. Some horrible work happened. So I'll probably, once I cut the other one off, I will cut it probably straight down in this section, and then I'll leave this one together and I'll set it on top, and I'll be able to cut this one and then section it with the other one. So I'm not entirely sure how that'll work, but once I get there, I'll figure it all out. But essentially, yeah, that's my bedside, and hopefully today it'll be on this bed, and I'll have a complete bed. So I guess that's it. I mean, I'll take this apart. I mean, there's just basically, pretty sure these are 10 mils all the way around, and then the ones inside, like the bigger ones, and the ones up front are all 13s. Yeah, these are all 13s. So super straightforward. That's kind of like a little rundown of what all kind of goes into it. So basically, yeah, I'll start working, and I'll probably put the headband on, strap the GoPro to my head, and you guys can watch the process. So I realized I forgot to show you guys the tool that I use to take spot welds out. I use, pretty sure this is a carbide bit. It works really good, so there's nothing else to do it. I mean, nothing else to say about it. Some people use an actual spot weld drill, which works fine, but they basically go bad really quickly. So I've probably drilled out hundreds, if not thousands, of spot welds with this one bit, and I mean, it works really good. You basically, whenever you find your spot weld, and all you have to do is just go around it, and you'll see the metal split, and then you move on, and so on and so forth. So it makes the job super easy, and it leaves a fairly clean hole to then re-weld with. So I'll go ahead and show you guys that bit now. And then I decided also I'm gonna remove this bedside, like if I was saving both, well, obviously I'm saving the bed, but if you're not saving the bedside, usually you can make, like, you know, cuts to make things easier for you. But I'm gonna go ahead and remove this, like I'm saving the bedside and the bed, in case anyone's, you know, just pulling their bedsides off to do something, I guess. I don't know, sometimes I'm not sure why, but anywho, if someone just wants to remove their bedsides and then put the same bedside back on, I'll show you that I guess process of it. But if I wasn't, I mean, if I was doing it the way I was gonna normally do it, basically normally do it in the sense of throwing this bedside away, I would cut straight down here, and then back here I'd probably do the same exact thing. I am gonna have to cut this. I'm gonna leave this section on since I'm gonna need this, so there's no point in getting in here and undoing this side of it. So I am gonna cut here, so that'll be the difference from me and essentially someone else. But for the most part, I'll show you guys how to remove it with, you know, again, saving the bedside. All right, so let me show you guys basically what I mean when when I say that if you drill them out, you can kind of see how it works. Well, you can see when it's splitting. So if you can, this will focus in, maybe not. It's not really wanting to focus in, but essentially when they're together, you can kind of see a little split. I mean, Granted, this is being separated, but you can kind of see a little shadowy split, which means that the spot weld isn't no longer welded in that area. But when it still is, it'll be basically like a continuous shine. So like this one needs to be a little bit, it needs to be reamed out. Whoa, out of angle, sorry, or out of the picture. But you need to basically I need to hit the outside a little bit more to get that one completely off. And I think there's a stitch weld down here. You can kind of see it, but I'll know once I get to this part. But yeah, that's kind of the premise of it. I'll go ahead and keep going so you guys can see it come off. But that's how I do it. There you have it. There's a piece off, and it wasn't. This is the top. No, it wasn't stitch welded up there. So yeah, that's it. There's nothing to it. And then now we have basically a complete strip bedside that I can theoretically slip over and install once this one's off. So I will, like I said, I do have to do some metal work down here. Yeah, there's a dent right there, so I'll have to push that out and hammer and dolly it, and yeah, and then it'll be ready to be put on. But next step is taking that one off. So I'll go ahead and set you guys up somehow and show you guys that bit. So the first thing you gotta do is gotta strip off all the areas where I know there's gonna be spot welds and well, more or less end caulking too that I'm gonna take off. So strip this whole section here, and then that's basically it actually, now that I think about it, since I'm not doing anything with the back, well, the top section. So I'll have to strip up here and then into here, just to expose everything up, and basically should be kind of ready to come up. Another tip I forgot to give is, in case I forget to actually show you guys, so when you strip everything off, you'll be able to see the two panels. It's a good thing to, or it's a good practice to mark the edge of the bedside, as you know, a little bit down with like a die grinder. That way, when you set the new one on, you have a line to follow, so everything's basically put on the same exact way. So that way, your fitment should be relatively in the ballpark as to the one that you're taking off. So in case I forget, I'm telling you guys that now. Also, again, I have to take off the whole front side too, just because it folds in between these two. And again, that should be it. I got to take apart the whole inside too. I forgot about that, which is again straightforward, just bolts. So no point in showing that. So I'll just go ahead and just strip this section, show you guys that, take the whole bottom apart, and then basically start taking the spot welds off. You guys saw I used a cutoff wheel and just put little marks here and there. I did, I think, what, 4 in total. So one up top so I can know the height, and then one here so I can know this way, and then another one here. You should be able to see them. I think it's just, I mean, again, you don't have to cut through, you just gotta enough to make a mark in the metal. And then one here, and then one at the way bottom. So yeah, that's essentially it. Should be ready to go. Once I pull it off, I'll be able to clean off the rest of the seam sealer. I will reapply seam sealer after the other one's on. So I mean, I could try to leave it on and kind of set the bedside on. That's another guiding factor, but I guess it can go, you know, one way or another way. There's multiple ways to do it. So I guess that's kind of it. So again, pull off the front. I'll show you guys that, and then start taking it all apart from the bottom. Alright, not sure why, but this bed's a 12, not a 13. So let's see, a 13 or a 12. Cool, so I just took off everything. This one was a 12 and this was a 13, so I'm not sure what that was about, but so don't forget there's a bolt all the way up here. I'm gonna leave the rest of it still bolted on that side so I don't mess with it too much. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take all the spot welds that are up here and start removing this side off. So I'll update you guys once I got basically everything drilled out. So almost got it off. Cut the bottom, like I said, since I need this corner for my bedside. So I got it basically all loose here. Drilled everything out here, as you can tell. And then up here, got this all loose. This should move. I haven't, honestly. It might still be welded in this corner. I'll find out shortly. And I got everything done minus like 3 welds up there on the top. Then the front, got all these already all done. And so one thing that my bedside, since I had damage there, I'll just show you guys. So since my bed was at some point dented here, it popped out the spot weld that was on the bottom. So there is one more spot weld that I didn't know of on that bedside, or any bedsides that aren't damaged, that's down there. So yeah, so there's a spot weld down there that's kind of hidden. So 3 there, and then a 4th one at the very bottom. So yeah, I'll just show you guys me taking this off, and we're taking the rest of it off, and then hopefully the bedside will come off easy. We'll find out. Well, there you go. That's how you take off a bedside. I just kept having some binding issues, which is weird. This is only welded on over here. It kept getting caught in this area because the beds, they have show you guys, they have like a lip they have a little lip, a fold down here, so that kept getting caught on the inner structure and was fighting me. But oh, you know what? I wonder if I bent mine too. No, that's weird. I don't know why that's all bent like that. Must have been just because I was struggling to get it off. But yeah, that's how you take a bedside off a 94 Toyota. So then I'll have to clean up the area where all the seam sealer's at. There's a bunch of it right here. So I'm not sure, I might try to set mine on, then clean it after, or because that's gonna be my personal next challenge. Is since I left this on, my plan is to put the other one over this. I'll probably cut mine back here, and then that way once everything's fitted, then I can just cut both of them at the same time, and that should leave me that perfect gap all the way down to be able to weld off of it. So that's my plan, because realistically it's going to be about right here where I will cut. So yeah, but then again, that's just my challenge, because I just wanted to keep this corner looking basically, you know, factory if I can, even though it's the whole rest of it's not. But instead of taking this off and then doing it off the truck, I just felt leave this, that way my height's all the same and I can kind of match everything with that. But I guess that's it. I'll show you, I'll do my own work, so I gotta do metal work on that, which is, you know, kind of pointless to show. So I'll do all that, and then I'll get the bedside ready. I'll probably end up, like I said, I might just clean up the rest of this and clean all this off, all the extra seam sealer, so I can set mine on here, and hopefully the welds will line up. I highly doubt that, since I'm pretty sure these are man/machine done, so they're not all the same. So I might have to put that one on, see where all my areas are, then clean it all up, and so to prep it for welding. So I could clean the whole thing off and then put mine on, then that way it's basically all bare metal. But I like the peace of mind of it not being all bare metal and still being somewhat sealed. So I'll put my bedside on, see where it's all at, and then take it back off, and then go ahead and mark everything so I can start welding. But that's a little bit later in the day. So next step is metal work, that one, and then I'll start the test fitting, and I'll show you guys that. All right, so here's the bedside, the one off my truck that I put on the junkyard bed. So I was going to show you guys. So I already went around and marked all my spots that I'm going to be re-welding this bedside on, but I wanted to show you the marks that I made earlier in the video. You can see them right there, and all you have to do is just basically set the bedside to be right in line with it. Sorry, they're power washing outside. So anywho, those marks, you can kind of tell there's the other one right there, so you just suck it in until it's right lining with it, and same down there. I put 2 bolts on the inside, the 2 bolts that come in from this way, and then I also have 2 bolts sitting just on the front panel right here. I honestly snaked in super easy. Maybe it helped that I didn't have to deal with this corner. But this side, I also did the same thing. I put a little mark inside there, and then basically, all it's gonna do, just whenever I go to weld, I just gotta put vice grips all over everything so the metal's sucked in, and then start welding. And then just, I guess, what I'm doing down here, since we're already here. So I cut the old bedside off, I think approximately, I went all the way to here. So I have excess down there, and the metal, basically all the bonder work that they did, I'll have to finish stripping down here, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna end right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically cut both bedsides together right here, and that way it'll be essentially a perfect splice. So that way when I'm welding the whole bed, I'm gonna also do a lap joint on the back side of it, So it'll just make it makes it easier. It's a little bit sloppier in the sense of you can see it from the back, but it'll be stronger that way. And then I'll lap join it, and then I'll weld all the way down here, so it'll be a completely solid welded there, and that'll avoid this whole mess that was going on previously. And I'll have you know, the corner basically looking like factory. But anywho, I forgot to mark these ones. I was just looking at that. They're pretty close to the old ones. Even up here too, all these welds, well, some of them were, like the second one, the third one, and so on and so forth. So they're not too far off, but I mean, I knew they weren't going to be perfect. But so that's kind of it. Just want to show you guys how to take a bedside off and put it back on if you're trying to reuse it, I guess. Well, here's the old one. I don't think I ever showed it, but essentially, I mean, I pulled it off with no issues. I mean, just had to bend the top lip up, which I did talk about that. So, but this bedside, I mean, granted, this one's junk. You can see all the damage that's all down it. I mean, specifically this one and the bottom one, and then all this mess is going on up here. But if you had a good bedside and you want to remove it for whatever reason, definitely super easy and super doable. I mean, I just did it and I demonstrated it. So that'll kind of be, I guess, it for this video. Just for, I guess, my mini truck guys, kind of untypical content that I didn't plan on doing something like this, but since there's no video out there, figured I'd help, you know, Toyota guys out. So I'll probably wrap it up here, and we'll see how the Toyota build goes. But my next step is to weld everything, weld the bedside on, and then that'll be basically it, and I can start prepping everything for paint. I also plan on shaving the rock deflectors that they have down here. So I'm gonna cut little squares, and I was thinking of using, like, so that shape should be similar to this shape. So if I cut this a little square out of here, it should fit on this side, and then vice versa with that bedside to the other one. Since, yeah, I think it should work. I don't know. That's just my brain telling me that they're symmetrical, but they're probably not. But I'll try it and we'll see how it works, because this bed's junk basically. So so yeah, I mean, that's kind of, you know, just a little subtle mod that I'll do to it now that I'm basically here. And then hopefully I'll have it primed and painted here soon. So before I wrap up the video, I figured I'd do now a video of the bed all done and painted. So here's a bedside that you guys saw me put on. Pretty straightforward. Now that it's body worked and painted, it looks like it didn't happen. In here, see if we can get light, but you can see the splice that I was talking about up on the right side. So that's the splice that, again, that I cut right here. And then I did shave the stone deflectors, but I did it a little bit differently than I had planned when I made the first video. So I just did relief cuts and then hammered and dollied it, and then kind of made a little patch for the center. Same with the bottom. So I did that on both sides, and went ahead and painted the inside of the bed because it was a little bit different from my truck's original color. And then that's more or less it. So the front panel's back on. This is the other side that's painted now. And then I added some TRD stripes just for giggles, I guess. Those already there. And then the tailgate too, even though it wasn't part of the video, I figured I'd show it. So here's the tailgate. Ended up doing that. So the Toyota lettering is normally a decal on these trucks, so I went ahead and did it in paint. So I did it silver and then put the decal on it, and then painted the rest of the tailgate. So I like to make things hard on myself, so I figured I'd do a little nice touch. But that's kind of it. And the inside's painted also, and then the tailgate handle access panel or whatever is also painted. But yeah, that basically kind of wraps up the video. So I figured I can throw this clip in there as a bonus. So thanks again for watching, and please like, comment, and subscribe if you like the content. Thanks, until next time.